thought I would play the piano. But when I got to the music room, there was water pouring in and down the east wall. Last year, I spent £11,000 replacing the lead on this one roof. What's the point? Bugger it, I thought. Anyway, can't stop me playing. Why am I still, in the main, so zestful? I know, but I don't like to say, in case the gods take it away.
I can believe that I can unite the party.
I would like the opportunity of trying to unite the party.
And we will then find a way of uniting the Conservative Party and going on to win the next general election.
I think any one of us could so, Michael.
What I assume he meant, of course, was I don't think anyone in this room is likely to be sacked by him.
What do you think, Al?
The priority is to find a leader who will win the next election, and we haven't got a lot of time. We need a Baldwin, someone who can reassure rather than stimulate, someone with good overall experience, someone who's good on the stump. Tom King, his experience in Northern Ireland.
Come on, Al, you'll have to do better than that.
As I was speaking, it dawned on me that winning the election was not uppermost in all their minds. They were, most of them, 20 years younger than me, carving out their own career prospects and wanting to identify with the new winner. Not only was there no one of my generation, there was no one of my background. There was no one, except possibly Tris, who understands and loves the Tory party, for all its faults, and knows it is an old whore that has been around for 400 years.
We have more firm pledges than John Major is claiming at the moment, and that has been the position all the way through.
Notwithstanding the continuous exposure which Michael has had these last 2 weeks, he is slipping back in the polls. People have guilt about condoning what he did to the lady. Tristan and the new generation want Herd, a caretaker, while the ambitious amongst them bide their time.
Now, Al, I know you're not a huge fan of Douglas, but you must look to the future. Surely you can see that.
I am taking an early train to Plymouth to sound out feeling. But even if I can't find a single person in the whole town to tell me to vote for John Major, that is what I'm going to do. So, yah-boo to him.
To know that so many people in the parliamentary party are prepared to entrust me with the leadership of the Conservative Party, and I will endeavour to discharge those responsibilities.
He looks ill already.
I believe as time proceeds,
Sort of,
Margaret Thatcher's period of
grey.
is seen in a proper perspective, that it will
Even with Major in, my own career is now a descending parabola. The events of last week have inserted a new generation, and episode by episode, the effects will make themselves felt.
Well, sadly, it seems that Alan Clark will be left out of John Major's new administration.
How will he manage now his protector is gone?
Oh, rude. There are no true friends in politics. We're all sharks circling and waiting for traces of blood to appear in the water.
Ah, there we are. Disliked. Alan Clark. Revenge is sweet of the MOD. Deeply disliked by both civil servants and ministers. As John Major considers who to position in the most prestigious post in his new government, the front men will be King and Hamilton. Clark will be kept entirely out of the limelight.
Buttocks.
Apparently Tom's press conferences are going to be live on US television.
Oh, no doubt Saddam will be pissing himself.
Minister. Awfully sorry, Minister. I'm afraid they need you to stand by.
Tom's been taken straight to St. Thomas's and operated on immediately for a, quite minor blockage in his, back passage.
Quite. What bad luck. Ah, suddenly the stars running. While we have all been knifing our leader in the back, Saddam continues to siphon off all of Kuwait's oil wealth. Tom occupied most of ministers this morning, telling everyone how his complaint was very common. Happens to practically everyone at some time, and so on.
Oh, Alan, could you stay behind a moment? Give us a minute, please.
Always a bad sign. The pupil's chair was drawn up facing his desk, ready for my next pre-caning homily.
How are you, Tom? I'm perfectly all right. It's you I want to talk about. If you are going to criticize government policy, then you must do it from outside the government.
NATO today can be summed up as a bureaucracy in search of a pension. Tom, I was not criticizing government policy.
Well, that certainly isn't the impression held by the Prime Minister. I can't go on defending you, you know. I think you must look upon this as your last chance.
If I am sacked, then it is for saying what I believe, and what is manifestly true. How much consolation is that? Some, I suppose. But there's poor old Keith Speed, sacked for speaking out nearly 10 years ago, and still no knighthood. Dear old J.M., still desperately trying to live down Mrs. T's crack about the B team. It's preposterous. I'm actually ill. Have been for months. Lovesick, it's called. A long and nasty course of chemotherapy. But with periodic bouts of addiction therapy, when I delude myself, I may be cured without damage. I have been on standby again all day, i.e. can't leave the building, because Tom may want to see me urgently. The UN deadline expires in a week's time, and the place hums. But it has been conveyed to me via the private office network that I'm not to take any part in the TV coverage of the war. The press office have been instructed to refuse all bids, and I am to refer those that are made to me personally, where? Back to the press office, Catch-22. Must make sure we all speak with the same tongue. But of course it's not that at all. They recognize that I'm more glamorous and have a quicker mind than the other ministers, who mustn't be outshone.
Secretary of State office have just rung. Everything's under control. You can stand down for the rest of the day.
My darling Janie, of course. Jane had a bad night, and this morning at breakfast staged a duet of wailing and recrimination, in the course of which she threw and smashed a coffee cup. How could I run away from Jane? Here. Just try and get an early night, Janie. Yes, I'm going to. Thinking of her and what she's doing and thinking will be just too painful and disturbing.
You know, I half want you to take me away somewhere for a little while.
How the hell do I arrange this? And whose were those initials I saw in her diary for Friday lunch? There was a time when I could have held both of these women. Now it is simply a form of torture.
The Allied air forces have been pounding targets in Iraq and Kuwait for the first 21 hours of the Gulf War. 1,200 missions have been flown.
But I am unhappy about strategy. Attacking missile sites is always wasteful. We lost another tornado last night. That's now 5. I can't help noticing the traditions, ancient and revered, of Bomber Command are reasserting themselves. Just as one can sometimes be less on one's guard abroad, so one can easily think that regional radio is a bit hick, particularly in the West Country.
And we're back with Defence Minister Alan Clark. Minister, with the air war now in progress, just how well are our NATO allies helping out?
Well, at the moment, they seem more concerned with heading to the cellars than actually doing any fighting. As ever, totally unreliable in a real crisis. The Belgians, who never fired a shot at anyone, and who, let us not forget, did their best to shaft the British Expeditionary Force of 1940, have actually refused to let us have... They had a teeny concealed camera and gleefully sold the whole interview as a TV performance, which of course I was banned from doing. There was a lull. Was it all a strange dream? But a day later it exploded. First in the FT, quite small, and then everywhere.
Well, you're not exactly flavour of the month again.
Oh, really?
John isn't at all pleased.
Oh, dear.
You go and do this, just at the moment when Douglas is trying to get Cole to stump up some cash towards our costs in the war.
I would have thought it might help. Shame them.
The fact that you can say that shows, if I may say so, that you're not really quite au fait with things. It's all a bit tricky.
I really am most terribly sorry, Tom.
Please.
Actually, the old thing wasn't unamiable. He knows I'm not a threat to him anymore, and he can draw mild satisfaction from my digging deeper into my hole. To cap it all, I believe myself to be fighting flu. In my experience, fighting flu is like fighting cancer. You always lose. But she is in my thoughts the entire time. I was going up to Manchester University to give a talk. I was so dejected on the journey. She quite perky. Very cold on arrival. No one to meet us. All I really want to do is kiss you.
We're gonna make each other miserable, you know.
You look incredible. Totally Zhivago.
Does that make you Komorowski, then? I'm really not cut out for these tragic roles.
I hold this image in my mind, and it gives me a nodule headache on the left side now. A sort of despair, really. So many things are coming to a head this year, but I can barely see things in perspective at all. Even quite calming things like sorting through my briefcase I can't face.
I am pleased to announce that at midnight tonight, Eastern Standard Time, all United States and coalition forces will suspend offensive combat.
The Gulf War is over. Too soon, I think. Bush has ordered a ceasefire. Now a long and messy interlude with Saddam stalling and dodging and quite likely to start shooting again. The Foreign Office has no idea what it wants. Never seems to have given any thought to the post-war pattern. The Western military presence, commitments, objectives.
And may God bless the United States of America.
Alan, we've done it. Congratulations all round. We're just heading down for the PM's briefing.
I would not wish to grow old and rumpled in office. The young ones pushing past. But I think what saddens me most is the so near, so far experience at MOD. my defense review has become an irrelevance, despite its wisdom. How well it was all planned, how confident. We ran the empire from here, and the world with the same number of civil servants as presently exist in one department.
Well, Grandad.
Instead of spending no more than 10% of our social security budget on the Royal Navy, the proportion was exactly reversed. Now we live in a squalid scrabble. It's nonsense to say we're better off. We're catastrophically poorer, due to A, death duties, and B, levelling up of standards and expectations in the lower classes, so that it is completely impossible to find, even if one could afford, domestic servants. Darling Jane is looking a wee bit strained. She knows something is up, and is quiet a lot of the time.
Richard Ryder apparently is suddenly rather pro-me. There's talk of him coming down for dinner, stay the night at Easter.
How jolly.
But she doesn't question me at all, just makes the occasional scathing reference. I do want to make her happy. She's such a good person. My enemies are rampant, Douglas in particular. Charles P. had told him under no other Prime Minister would Clark have been either given office or promoted, and under any other Prime Minister he would long since have been sacked. But actually, they're just a lot of old has-beens, all leaving public life. Who's going to lead them?
John. No. No, you handled it marvelously. Oh, we all love the lady and her style. Heaven knows me more than most. But things are more difficult now. Different times.
He was pathetically glad to hear praise, but it made me think. If I am to leave the Commons, perhaps it would be more tolerable to be out under Labour than under a new wave Tory administration.
I think I've got a melanoma on my nose.
So look.
You know, there's only two things that I really enjoy doing now. Seeing and talking to the boys. Driving the Porsche.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, no, I didn't mean...
She has got a lot of confessions out of me, along the lines of what do you do, when did you do it type interrogation.
What really upsets me is that you took it to the opera.
I almost relish the admissions, as of giving a dimension, a reminder of what occurred and has now ceased.
You never take me.
However, I have promised, A, not to whinge, B, not to swear, and C, not to drive fast.
Really, you may just as well castrate me. Obviously, you'd rather have a eunuch as a husband than a man with a bit of blood who occasionally chases around a bit.
Occasionally? You are utterly odious.
I think this is going to be a very bad year.
I wish you wouldn't keep on saying that. I really dislike it.
There is talk of an election in June, and with Labour settled at 10 points ahead in the opinion polls, I think it is time to stand down. It is better to go out while they are still calling for more.
Good evening. The 1992 election campaign is underway.
Now confirm to you that this morning I saw Her Majesty the Queen and sought her permission for a dissolution of Parliament and a general election on April the 9th.
Personal reasons have been cited for your departure.
I didn't say that. Personal reasons usually means there's been a scandal, and I can assure you there's nothing of that. No, it is simply time to go.
My lords and members of the House of Commons, by virtue of Her Majesty's commission, which has now been read, we do, in Her Majesty's name, prorogue this Parliament. None of us can foretell the future.
Now that the decision is made, what are my objectives? I will become a dilettante, man of letters, and an old Etonian guru. I shall pay full and proper attention to my papers and the heritage. I shall become a more attentive husband with the freedom to travel at will. I shall have early nights and long lie-ins. Oh, and I shall think of you all here, sweltering in heat, befuddled by the mumbo-jumbo of the civil service. The fact that I will be excluded from the Commons, from the beloved magical electric aura of the chamber, and by my own hand, has yet to sink in.
I'm very sorry, sir. I can't let you through. You're not a member, sir. Not since the House rose. Sorry, sir. It gives me no pleasure. Good luck, sir. We'll miss you. Thank you.
Immensely serene. I must record that I am settling down very calmly to a pleasant, detached existence, with so much to hand in the way of diversions and accoutrements. Gosh, I'm glad to be out of it. The polls this morning are bad, very bad, each showing a 5% Labour lead. I don't particularly mind even a touch of schadenfreude if it weren't for my lost peerage. Although, intriguingly, on that front, a lunch yesterday with Alastair Campbell opened just by a chink the possibility of some sort of semi-alignment with Kinnock and the other side. Polling day.
If Mr. Kinnock can push his pendulum through the swings through to 8%, turning David Mellor and all these other MPs here, Kensington, Brentford, Edmonton, Erith, Eltham...
If I am really honest with myself, I dreaded the general election and resigned my seat because I thought we were going to lose. But I was wrong.
I'm very pleased with the result. It's a result, I think, that has surprised one or two people, but not the Conservative Party. I'm very pleased with it. And it's nice to be back, and I look forward to what we can do there in the next 5 years.
Mrs. Thatcher concluded that her legacy was safe.
Everything we've done in the last 13 years will now be conserved on into the future. And the interesting thing is, I think the people weren't prepared to let that go.
Mr. Major praised first his party chairman and then his wife.
The second thing I want to say is even more personal.
I am doomed now to the wilderness, to awaiting tidings of men and events. The whole year stretches before me, in which there is nothing but nothing to tie the structure to. I always wanted time, even a day. 3 hours was priceless. Now it is limited only by my death or infirmity.
For goodness sake, back up.
I dream of reviving Commons privileges, tea room, reference library, and so on. And on waking, I realize that these are closed to me forever. I suppose if I were to get my peerage promptly, I could still catch up, swoop into the tea room, mob around. But there's no point in dodging it. When you're out, you're out.
Why?
I don't have to answer that. Well, I merely thought that having been a good boy for 4 months, I might just have 1 day off. But no, it seems...
You haven't been to London for ages, and now suddenly you want to go to London. I want to know why.
She was clearly thinking either I'm going to meet a mistress, or lunch with some tittles of a journalist, or have a hormone injection. Sex, actually, is all women think about when they don't know an answer. This made me cross, and it was unfair. I had twice admired and complimented Jane on her appearance, and all she said was that I was like Frank Boff, whom I have always thought ghastly, long before he got caught in a sex den or whatever it was.
We'll hang on. She's invariably late. I'm sure she'll be here soon.
She's getting married next year. This wonderful, excruciating affair has burned itself out. So now perhaps there is no reason why I still go to London at all.
Good evening. Alan Clark, the former minister who thinks the Arms for Iraq scandal is just an obsession of the chattering classes, discovered it's also of passing interest to the Crown Prosecution Service today.
The Matrix Churchill trial has turned into a farce. All this stuff about a decline in our manufacturing. The Iraqis had to come here to get the barrels for their supergun, didn't they? We should have put it in a trade fair. Day wasted. Though I get £70 for an ITN interview at lunchtime on the John Major leadership. I met Valerie Harkis afterwards for a drink. Needless to say, without the rest of the coven. Not looking bad, really. Well preserved, very good bust, and very restrainedly dressed.
You'd have got the leadership, you know, if you'd still been in. You miss it?
Yes, desperately. You know, I never felt the same degree of sheer physical desire as I did for you. With any other human being.
How delightful. Oh, please don't spoil it now by suggesting we get a room.
Crazy, spastic headline in today's Sunday Express. Really? I am Dutch, though slightly put out. So what if we did do a bit of bending and stretching? The rules were tiresome and intrusive and certainly not in the British interest. Whereas the protracted war between Iraq and Iran clearly was. Look what happened after they made peace. I should have been much less cliquey, widened my circle of friends, never let my boredom threshold show. I should have entertained, in circle, members of the 92, little dinners. Pressed on. I didn't realize until too late the prestige I commanded. I thought that they would think I wanted something. I should really have had a dinner every fortnight. Now, in this dead and dingy and aimless parliament, everyone would be talking about me.
What are you doing in London today, when you have no time to spare? Or so you tell me. Well, I have gone too. Don't know when I'll be back to feed the dogs, water things, iron things, tidy things, the things wives do. We have so much, and yet we don't have any time for each other. We make it, or lose it.
I should never have left the House of Commons.